In today's video, I wanted to share some thoughts about how the darkness sneaks into your life, and you may not even notice that it's happening. You may not even be aware that there is like this manipulative energy behind the scenes, completely controlling your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and like what you're doing, how you're living. And I wanted to share some examples to kind of bolster this, to help you notice in what ways the darkness sneaks into your life and tries to control and manipulate you. And it's going to come through several different forms and several different ways. What I want to kind of mention first, though, is that a lot of times this is something that is recognized as a pattern. So the darkness sneaks into all of our lives, consistently challenging us through all the different manipulations that it tries to have on us. But what we often don't notice is that there is a generational component to this. So there is this karmic cycle that is basically playing out. If all of the previous generations before you also were controlled and dominated, not even necessarily dominated, but to some degree controlled by darkness, then it's going to be handed down to you, because they're going to have certain perceptions, certain ways of seeing things that they would have raised you with that knowledge, right? With the way that they thought about things or how they felt about things. That's typically what our parents hand down to us, right? So if there's like a lot of unhealed, unprocessed, emotions, different things like that within our parents, then they're going to karmically pass that on to us. Because, see, the beauty of spiritual work is that I find that in every single family, there is always one individual, one soul that resonates at a higher frequency than pretty well the rest of the family. And sometimes there's more than one soul, but in most cases, what I've encountered through my 10 plus years of doing this work is that it's one soul typically. And that one soul is sort of being waited on by the entire ancestral line to have the recognition to notice how the darkness is manipulating them, how the darkness is infiltrated their lives, and to break that cycle, to break that karmic pattern. Because once you break that pattern within yourself, you're breaking it for your entire lineage. You are breaking it for your future generations. Like, those are experiences that they're not going to need to go through or have. So it's a big deal to really recognize how we are manipulated and controlled by the darkness. Because once you have awareness, you are back in your power, you are back in your sovereignty, and you are back in control, in the driver's seat of your life. You are making every choice, every decision, every action from this really higher place, this really evolved place of fearlessness. My name is Kata. I'm a spiritual life coach, and I'm an energy healer, and I work with a lot of different people that are truly ready to ascend, that are ready to heal, that are ready to accelerate their ascension. So if you want to work with me, check out the description box below. There will be a link there, and you can also find other links for all my other services. And I just quickly want to mention how incredibly awesome it is to finally be able to film outside, to finally be out and just feeling so good and so warm. I did a little bit of tanning earlier to get my vitamin D in. I just want to say, like, I'm so happy that we finally have some good weather and I'm out here doing this. So the darkness's purpose is to extract power. Okay. It is always looking to extract power from an individual. Why? Because the darkness actually doesn't have any power of its own. And here is the massive misconception. I think this is the part that people don't understand about darkness and about shadow, about, we'll just call him Pod, the Prince of Darkness. The people that think of this energy as, it's almost like society puts the Prince of Darkness on a pedestal as if it had some kind of control or power over anything, when in fact it does not. The only way that it can extract power is through manipulation, is through taking you, robbing you of your own power, convincing you to hand over your own power to it. And it's going to do this through other people, through different circumstances and situations. And it's almost like in every given moment, you have an opportunity to decide, whether you are going to fall into the trap, right? Because it always sets a trap for you, and it's always a fear-based trap. So whether you entertain that, it's like, are you entertaining fearful thoughts and thoughts about lack? Little bugs. Are you entertaining feelings of fear and feelings of anxiety and worry about your future or about anything really in your life? Because those are the ways in which it sneaks in. It's always through anxiety, through fear, through that like manipulative, it's very sneaky, super sneaky. And when you start to really recognize this, that, oh my God, this isn't even me. This is just an external energy outside of me that is really full on trying to hijack my power in this moment. And all I need to do is believe it. And the moment that I believe that fearful statement in my head or those intrusive thoughts is the moment that I have willingly handed over my power to it. And so this is what I really want to point out here to help you see and recognize that it's doing this, that this is what is happening when we are in fearful states, when we are in lack mentality, when we are in anything other than happiness, joy, love, abundance, a sense of safety, security, prosperity, right? All of these energies vibrate at a very high frequency. And for us to stay in that high frequency, we can't entertain thoughts of fear or lack of any kind, because the moment you do is the moment you have given your power to that. And now that is the energy that you're feeding, and it is being fed. Believe me, it is completely thriving off of you. And the more you loop in that cycle, the deeper down the rabbit hole you go. The definition of destiny. Destiny is the hidden power to control what will happen in the future, also known as fate. So what if you understood and fully realized that destiny is a hidden power that you have within yourself to control your own reality? The way that you control your own reality, though, is through abandoning fear, through not giving into fear, not allowing it to take you down any kind of rabbit hole, and recognizing immediately as soon as any fear comes up within you or any type of contraction, recognizing it, that there it is. There's POD, man, Prince of Darkness, trying to fully infiltrate my life, manipulate me into giving it my power. Do not consent. Do not cave in. Do not entertain those thoughts and those feelings, because the moment you do, you have given your power away. Create your destiny. You have that hidden power within you. All you got to do is tap into that feeling of joy and love and happiness and abundance and safety, security, and everything that you've ever desired. Bliss is where it's at. Bliss, the feeling of bliss, and enjoying every single day, the breeze in my hair and the sunshine on my skin, enjoying and taking in all of that and valuing it to such a high degree where no fearful thoughts can even come in and cloud that up. None. So darkness sneaks up on you in many different ways, through many different forms, through many different people. I'm going to share some examples now of how it does this so that you can recognize, oh, it's like bug heaven here. And you can recognize this in your life. And as soon as you do, it's like, cut it right away. Do not entertain it, not for a second. Don't allow it to trigger you. Don't allow it to bring a reaction out of you, but rather respond. Notice, pause, observe. I see what's going on here. And then change, shift, pivot, do something different, end that conversation, get yourself out of that situation. So it's through that person who always creates resistance and difficulty in your life. That is one way the darkness is going to try and come in, and it's like it wants to trigger you every freaking second. It wants to trigger you. It wants you to react and to get into that old cycle, that old way of being, of constantly freaking out over stuff, little things, big things, whatever, right? And it's also through the resistance that you create within yourself. And tune in and find out, what am I resisting right now in this moment? Am I here? Am I right here experiencing this present moment? Or am I resisting the present moment? Am I resisting it by looking backwards, looking at the past? Am I resisting it by looking too far ahead, giving myself anxiety over the future? How am I in resistance to my own life? Check in with that and see how you feel about that. It could also show up through a friend that doesn't believe in you or is secretly jealous when you reach a level of success or when you have some kind of a positive accomplishment. A lot of people, unfortunately, and it's so sad because we all have this capability to create an amazing life for ourselves. And sometimes the people that are not willing to do the work to create that amazing life for themselves will get very triggered, very jealous of people that do. And they don't realize that it took them work to get there. Like it took an investment of energy, time, and effort, and blood, sweat, and tears to have those accomplishments, right? And so it's about kind of observing and looking around in your circle right now to see, do you ever pick up like a vibe of like jealousy or like, oh yay, they're happy for you, but then you can feel like they're not actually happy for you. Because if you do pick up that vibe, then you know that it's like, it has nothing to do with you. It's all them, right? They feel insecure within themselves because maybe they haven't accomplished anything in a while, right? And so check and see if that's something that you still want to keep in your life. I mentioned values a lot in my videos, like what are your values, and checking in with yourself about that, because as you get very, very clear on your values, you're going to start to recognize that, okay, certain people and certain things I just can't entertain because they don't fit into my value system. They don't fit in with me, with who I am and who I embody now. And that's perfectly okay. We're all on a journey of evolution, and where you're at in this very moment is where you're at. And some people are going to need to fall away. And we just began a new month, right? This is the 1st of May as I'm recording this. So the month of May, and actually Pluto moves into retrograde tomorrow. So we're already in pre-shadow. But Pluto moving into retrograde tomorrow on May the 2nd is telling us to be super present, super trusting of our intuition right now, and to really go with the flow. And even as I started this video, turkey vulture started to like do circles just within my line of sight. So again, reminding me, go with the flow and stay in the flow. Ride these currents of energy that are wanting to take you higher and higher. But let's get back to other ways in which the devil creates resistance and tries to block our positive life flow. It can also come through an addiction that you can't seem to get under control. And this could be anything. It could be Netflix, it could be food, it could be ice cream, it could be whatever, right? Even emotional addictions. A lot of people have emotional addictions, just emotionally addicted to certain things, even certain types of music, whatever. So check in about that. Through doubting that things are going to work out well for you. That's a huge one. A lot of people have that issue. Not trusting your intuition is another big one through which the darkness tries to manipulate you. So it's like those intrusive thoughts will come in and constantly want to override your intuition, your feelings about how things really ought to be, or something that you need to do, or something that you need to say, or whatever. Okay, so really, really trust your gut, really pay attention to your intuition. Through constantly looking back at your difficult past or jumping too far ahead into the future and then getting anxiety about that, the darkness wants to constantly pull us out of the present moment because it knows very well that all power resides and exists within the present moment. So the more that you are in the right here, right now, the more that you are really just happy and joyful in the present moment, the more you are in your power. It will also show up through keeping your attention focused on problems rather than solutions. I was super problem focused instead of solution oriented, and I completely kicked it. Like, it's like, I don't have problems. I don't even know what that is because I only have solutions, and I only allow myself to focus and give attention to everything that is so wonderful in my life, and everything is so wonderful in my life. So I can't give any attention to problems because I don't have any. Another way is through fake family members or people who only like you or are nice to you if you have something of value to offer them or that they need. And I mean, this could be your time, your energy, your love, your support, your kindness, your attention. Maybe you're a really great listener. In some cases, it could be like your money, your connections, people that you know. There's so many different ways in which people try to manipulate us. And I want to say the darkness wants to manipulate you through other people, because it wants to siphon you off, constantly wants to siphon you off and take from you. And it will show up through other people. This is all the darkness. And I'm not creating like a little backdoor out for, people that do that in your life, because those people are simply playing their part. A lot of people are super unconscious, and when you are very unconscious, the darkness can use you as a puppet, and it does. It full on uses you and manipulates you into believing that certain scenarios and circumstances with people are real when they're actually not. It's just like a little game it's playing. It has to use people because it doesn't have physical form. It has to, see, this is how cringy and sneaky it is, because it always has to use some kind of a person, thing, place, or whatever to manipulate you. It doesn't have any form of its own. It will also come through people who have no respect or consideration for you, for your boundaries, or for your needs, or even for your limits. Through a partner that was never really right for you, but you kept them around out of fear of being alone, or out of this false pretense of financial security or convenience. It's very common. Just comfort zone, right? A lot of people keep people around them for comfort, even though it's completely not comfortable to be with that person. Through people that want you to stay the same because they would feel really uncomfortable if you changed, right? It keeps them feeling comfortable to stay the same as well. Through people that want to hold you back and don't want to see you getting ahead is another way it sneaks in. Through your own fears around survival, and especially survival, and I'm especially talking to the ladies here because this is a very big one in our modern society, believe it or not. We have a lot of women who have really deep, tremendous fears around survival, safety, and security. And if you look into our world, there are a lot of single women out there who are doing life alone, and it's very challenging to feel safe and secure. A woman is meant to have a man in their life, is meant to have that safety and security that the masculine energy provides, right? And a lot of women don't have that. But there's a lot of men I worked with as well who have had major issues around safety, security, feeling safe or secure, especially more sensitive, because I find I work with a lot of more sensitive men who just feel energy more, are more tuned into it. It also shows up through people who are dishonest, have hidden agendas, are greedy, jealous, envious, who cheat and take what is not theirs. So it's like, do you see how many different ways in which the darkness can come in and sneak into your life and just start like fucking with your mind and like messing with your emotions and your feelings and constantly distracting you from actually owning your power and pulling you away from your own personal power? It's crazy, isn't it? Worrying is a huge one, right? Worrying about your life circumstances, worrying about anything. And as mothers, we tend to worry about our children. So worrying about your kids can be another huge one. And with that being said, I want to say right now, immediately shut it off. If you're worried about your children's health in any way or their safety in any way, immediately shut that off within you. Do not even entertain those thoughts, because that fear has the power to be manifested into reality. And I see this happen. I've actually witnessed it in my own life, of how I actually unknowingly manifested a difficulty for my daughter. She actually ended up breaking a toe. It was just crazy. Like when I realized that because I was worried about her doing that, and then it freaking happened. So it's like we are very, very powerful creators and manifestors. Amen, Blue Jay. And it's very important that as mothers, we do not focus on the fear or on bad things happening to our kids, because we really have the potential to create that as reality. Now, not trusting yourself or not trusting God. And this is a huge one. Actually, when we don't trust ourselves, we're not really trusting the divine either. The divine is always looking out for us, always bringing circumstances together for us to really get the best possible outcome and to guide us towards our own awakening, right? But a lot of people just don't trust because they feel like if I can't see it, it's not there. When in fact, it is all around us. It's through the woodpecker right now, pecking at that wood, reminding me that opportunity is knocking, right? Because that's what the woodpecker symbolizes spiritually. So it's like there are so many ways. And then there's the turkey vulture riding the wave right now. My God, there's so many ways in which the divine is always showing up for us, always giving us signs and synchronicities, and through numbers, through animals, through sounds, through all kinds of things, reminding us that we are cared for, we are loved, and we are supported, and we are guided. Are you tapped into that? Or are you still giving your power away to darkness? That is the question here. And last but not least, through those intrusive thoughts that are always convincing you to allow people to stay in your life that you know and you have felt for some time that need to go. Connections that have expired, connections that just don't align with who you are anymore. And a lot of times it's not because there's anything wrong with that person. It has nothing to do with that. It's just simply because there's a misalignment energetically. As you grow, as you evolve, as you become a better version of yourself, you will have people fall away from your life. And that is perfectly normal. It is healthy. It's like you're always moving through different cycles of learning. And when you are done learning a certain lesson with a certain individual, it's done. There's nowhere else to go. And that connection doesn't need to be maintained. As a matter of fact, it needs to go so that new experiences can come in, so that you can learn new beautiful lessons in different ways and through different people. So I just wanted to share this because it's important to pay attention to how you are functioning, who's in your life, who's not in your life, what everything is guiding you towards. And the more you become aware of how darkness tries to manipulate you, how the darkness sneaks in through that back door, through other people, through different things, the more you're just going to start noticing like, oh, there it is again. And then the self-blaming can also stop, and self-forgiveness can finally happen, because now you're recognizing that it's an external energy that is constantly trying to my head, right? And I'm not going to allow it to. So take your power back in this month of May, in this beautiful weather, in this beautiful energy that we have coming in the month of May. Be in the driver's seat, fully, wholeheartedly, and notice every moment and in every occasion when the darkness tries to mess with you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.